Welcome to Ask the Edmonds Cop. I'm Teresa Whipple. Sergeant Shane Hawley, welcome.
Thank you.
We are going to talk today, follow-up to an incident that happened in December in Edmonds where we had a racially motivated threat that came through the high school, and there was a follow-up to that after suspects were arrested where there were some rumors about a shooting that might be taking place. And you and I were talking about how that kind of got out of control with a lot of social media and things like that. And what is the best advice you would have for parents and others about kind of talking about these situations so that it will help police and school officials do their job?
Yeah, so that incident that you're referring to happened just before Christmas, and it got quite a bit of attention, and rightfully so. And I don't want to go into a lot of details and give it any more airtime than really those comments are worth. I don't want to humor that. But what came out of it was a whole lot of rumors. We ended up having to deal with that later that day, when we started getting phone calls. And it was all based off of social media. And you know how quickly things travel via social media.
Oh, yeah.
And that really created a couple of issues for us, and two things kind of came out of it. One, it was kind of like the rumor game, if you played the whisper game,
right,
where you line a bunch of people up and it starts at one end, and by the time it's passed down via whisper, it's a completely different message.
Yeah.
So we see some of that. And then the other thing is social media, it will spread like wildfire. Yeah. And for us, when we get reports that there might be something dangerous that would happen at the school, because we take public safety as our number one priority, we need to look into that, find out if that's something credible. Is this something where, the school district, and we work with them routinely on these things, so there's open communication between us and the school, but we need to figure out what sort of credibility there is to that. But when it's passed, hands via social media 30, 40, 50, 150 times, it makes it difficult for us to track it back to the source.
Yeah.
And we want to get as close to the source as we can to figure out, okay, what is this actually about?
Okay. So, obviously there's a lot of fear when that happens, especially with parents and their kids' safety.
Oh, sure.
So if somebody hears something like that in that kind of a situation, and I'm sure this is going to happen again in some form or another, what would be the best course of action to, people are going to talk no matter what, but just minimize the chatter, kind of be willing to let the process play out a little bit more? Yeah,
and, I understand I want to let people know what I've heard, what's going on. They're concerned, and we're every bit as concerned for your children. I mean, like I said, public safety is our number one priority. We're not going to let an investigation jeopardize safety as far as that.
So if you feel like action needs to be taken, it will be taken.
Absolutely. But we need to be able to look into those rumors and figure out what's legitimate and what's not.
Okay.
So there's a couple things with that. One, passing it around to get the word out, that's not going to hit everybody.
Right.
That hits your circle of friends, but that's not necessarily hitting the entire student body or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. So that's for the school to deal with. And they have the channels to get the word out to everybody.
Right.
So if there is something legitimate, that's the school district's responsibility, and they'll deal with that. Okay. The other angle of it, like I said, is the whole rumor portion. And we want to kind of keep that in check if we can. So instead of, if you hear something, we'd ask that you call us immediately.
Okay.
As soon as you find out about it, because we're getting as close to the source as we can at that point in time before it just gets out of control.
Right. Okay, very good. All right. Well, when in doubt, as seems to be the advice a lot of times with what we talk about, is when in doubt, call 911 and make sure you share what you know.
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back again soon with another episode of Ask the Edmonds Cop.